Hello everyone, I'm Gareth from We Cycle. Going to talk you through the new Shimano Ultegra Di2 12-speed. Long awaited, I know, but it's finally here. And we're going to go through some of the changes. Firstly, let's deal with the main observation that a lot of people have had, that it doesn't increase the range. The biggest cassette will go still 11 teeth from the smallest sprocket up to 34 on the largest sprocket. However, pair this with a 34 chainring on the chain set and you've still got a 1-to-1 ratio, so you should still be able to get up any hill. Because we spend most of our time in the middle of the cassette, what they've done is look for a way of squeezing in an extra sprocket there just to make it even easier to find the right gear for the most of the time they're actually on the bike. I'm sure the technicians at Shimano looked at the option of going to 10 teeth at the bottom or up to 36, but couldn't find a sensible way of doing it without compromising on quality. And quality is what all of this kit screams. We're going to start with the shifters, which come in at £450 each. They are slightly different shape to the old ones, slightly longer by 4.6 mil, if that makes a difference to you. And one interesting aspect is that it is ever so slightly toed in to give a more ergonomic grip. Paddles are larger, making it easier to change wearing large gloves, and the feel of the braking is much improved, and I'll talk a little bit more about that when I talk about the calipers. I've still got a Di2 button on the top, which you can pair with your Garmin or Wahoo and change settings on that. On the shifters there's also a single wire port which can be used to link up to a satellite shifter, so you can have a shifter up on the tops for those alpine climbs, meaning you don't have to go onto the hoods. One neat Night Rider-esque effect that they've gone for is a couple of LED lights subtly hidden inside here, which will light up red or green and will give you a good indication of the battery. And the batteries for these shifters are independent of everything else, and they're changeable neatly inside the hood. Because the shifters run off their own battery for the disc brake version, it means from here they are completely wireless, meaning a much neater cockpit, but also faster communication between the shifter and the front and rear derailleur. Front derailleur, much smaller, sleeker, lighter than the 11-speed iteration. And the rear derailleur is just one single version, which covers both the 11-30 and the 11-30 4-tooth cassettes. It is shadow technology, so it is set into the frame and an incredibly aerodynamic piece of kit. The charging port for the battery, which powers the front and rear derailleur, is found at the back of the rear derailleur. There's a single LED light on the back of the rear derailleur which will indicate battery life, as well as flash when you're pairing things up and syncing them, that sort of thing. Now this is where the semi-wired aspect of the Groupset comes in. Although it's Bluetooth signal from the shifters to the drivetrain, there are two cables within the drivetrain, one going from the rear derailleur to the battery and another going from the front derailleur to the battery. One important change with the whole system is the battery. Battery is very similar, looks exactly the same pretty much as the previous Di2 system, except the connections. Whereas the previous one would only take one cable connecting, the cables have been made narrower, which means they're lighter, but it also means we can fit in 3 connectors on one single battery. This means we can do away with junction boxes, so the front derailleur and the rear derailleur connect directly to the battery. Less parts needed, less bits to go wrong. It's a much neater and lighter system. Now, as well as looking good and doing the majority of your shifting, the rear derailleur contains a lot of the brains behind this. The 2 shifters pair with the rear derailleur, and the rear derailleur talks to the front derailleur, so the whole system comes together through this. There's an indicator light on here that's used for pairing, but it also gives you an idea of the level of battery charge from that battery from the seat post. To charge it, it's a USB charging cable which connects onto the back of the rear derailleur. To pair all the items is a nice feature in the Shimano app where you take a picture. They've all got a QR code on the parts, and it just automatically pairs them all up for you. Cassettes come in just two options, 11 to 30 and 11 to 34 teeth. They are now with the new Hyperglide Plus system, which is a combination of the cassette and a new chain, and as well as making shifting faster and more accurate, it also is designed to improve use when shifting under full force. The idea is that it doesn't matter how hard you're pedaling, your shifting is going to work every single time. There are two options for chain sets, either a 52-36 or a 50-34, coupled with 5 different crank lengths: 160mm, 165, 170, 172.5 or 175. The calipers are slightly wider on the updated version, meaning there's less chance of disc rub, but also they've taken the sort of servo actuation of the mountain bike GRX system, meaning there's a much more positive feel on the lever when you're braking all the way, and then it's more graduated as well, so it's much nicer feel when you're braking. Hope you enjoyed our overview of the new Shimano Ultegra Di2 12-speed group set. If you've got any comments, please put them in the box below. Any questions, let us know and we'll try and answer them for you. Don't forget to like the video and hit the subscribe button so you can get new content as soon as we release it.